This big boss energy sees you as their perfect match with this Queen of Pentacles. This person is fantasizing, dreaming, maybe even planning about like building an empire with you, combining forces. They see you as somebody who is a very formidable force within your own life. You reach for goals that might be very big, very lofty, or you've accomplished really great things. Even if you're living a simple life, there's a sense of almost this person understanding without you needing to explain very much, or maybe you have told this person about certain things, like you really are a self-made individual. Whatever your struggles have been in the past, the obstacles, challenges, or processes that you've had to go through in order to create this version of yourself, maybe from the wreckage of previous experiences, or something where you started off as a very kind of like modest person, or something that the odds were kind of stacked against you in different sorts of ways, and you've managed to kind of like build a life that is really amazing. You've managed to do things maybe for the first time generationally within your family, or something where you set, again, very big, very lofty goals, and you have achieved those goals, or you are climbing at a very remarkable pace towards those things. You're very consistent, you're very diligent. All of that is something that this person sees and they greatly admire. This is somebody that recognizes you as a high value person. They see that it's kind of like, if I expect to have a seat at this person's table, I better not come with kind of like empty hands and, sort of this attitude of thinking that there's going to be these free handouts, but I better be able to kind of pull my weight. I better be able to kind of match the intensity or the velocity with which this person recognizes you are able to kind of like provide for yourself. They see you as somebody that doesn't require a whole lot of outside kind of like reinforcement or validation in order to kind of self-sustain, self-soothe. Your aura, your energy, it feels like it's very strong, it is very powerful. Maybe something that is very intimidating to a lot of people, but to this person, they see within you and kind of the way that you carry yourself and how you're living your life, this is a frequency embodied that they desire in another person. Again, this is given the energy of like power couple, combining forces, making your empires multiply in some sort of way. We also have the High Priestess. So this person feels that you carry this beautiful balance of being very approachable, very grounded, very down to earth, and at the same point in time, you are somebody with a lot of self-respect. You make people kind of like earn access to parts of your personality that sort of glimmer through, or there are hints or indicators of something more that meets the eye about you. But this person definitely recognizes that you are someone with many layers. You may be somebody that, you have a lot of responsibility, different kinds of responsibility. You wear many different hats. And so this is the kind of thing that this person really respects, that whatever it is that you have to do, in order to get by, maybe you have a lot going on. And so there are times where like you can invest your emotions in a lot of things, certain things you're involved in where you need to kind of like turn those emotions off. And it's just like all business. Anything that this person has seen as far as those kind of differences, those variances between you, this is something that, they really respect that. They really admire that. They see a lot of themselves in you in this capacity as well. So this person could, again, work in like maybe like a high stress, high pressure job, or it's big boss energy. So there's a lot of people that answer to them. They can't be approaching everything from just like, a totally heart space perspective. Sometimes it's got to be business. Tough decisions have to be made. Maybe having to do what's kind of best for the greater good, and sort of put their own individual wants, needs, and desires on the back burner for a period of time, or within certain settings or contexts. And so if you have anything like that that goes on in your life, anything that you're involved in or you're working towards, where you're just kind of like, yeah, I'd love to go out and just like hang out and be frivolous and go and kind of just relax or do whatever, but I need to get up early in the morning, I need to go to class, I need to work this job or these multiple jobs, or kind of build this side business after hours, I got these people to take care of, I've got myself to kind of prioritize so I can keep my battery charged. full and sort of like ready to attack the day. Anything as far as that's concerned, your routine, your habits, your patterns that this person is aware of, maybe even ways in which you have, you limit their access to you. You're not just available all the time, or, there've been times where you're like, yeah, I want to connect, I want to talk, I want to hang out, I want to get together, but I've got things that I need to tend to. I've got things that I need to do. So now is not going to work for me. I'll get back to you later. Something like that. This person definitely sees you as somebody that you got your priorities aligned in all the right ways. And this is something that really attracts them about you. The fact that you can be sweet and approachable, but you also know when to kind of like call it quits and just focus on business. This is definitely somebody that has a high level of respect for you. Whatever it is that you are kind of like working to manifest, working to build or improve about yourself, even if they're not like aware of any of these things directly as far as what they are, they can sense that you're somebody that like you might be living a life that you're satisfied with, or maybe you're not really satisfied with where you are at this point, but this is not kind of like it. You haven't peaked. You are somebody that is, in the process of evolving, or you're somebody that has this kind of glint in your eye that sort of lets this person know, hey, I'm hungry for more. I'm not just going to kind of settle for a life that I don't deserve. I'm not going to settle in a situation that doesn't feel right for me. This person has a lot of respect for that. It's almost like they want to kind of, be curious, but they don't want to pry. So it feels like at this point in time, this person is like sending a lot of good vibes your way. This is somebody that is kind of like, I might not understand the full process that you're going through, but, I see kind of a reflection of an aspect of myself within you. So maybe when they were trying to come up in the world, or, kind of get to their current position, wherever they have going on at this point, or things that they're trying to develop further, they see that kind of like-mindedness, or sort of like a comparable energy within you. And so this is definitely somebody that respects your space, respects your alone time, respects the fact that you are very choosy as far as what you reveal, how far you let this person in. They see your boundaries as something very attractive. They definitely are somebody that it feels like wants to take the time to sort of like find a way to get you to let your walls down. But at the same point in time, they don't want to put pressure on you, because they sense that whatever these boundaries are that are in place at this point, it's not coming from a place of woundedness or trying to like push love away, or, make people chase you unnecessarily, but that there's almost something where it's like you've learned to kind of like keep enough of yourself in reserves that you're able to fill your own cup, or kind of, again, like meet all these different obligations, or things that you have to do, and still make time for things that you want to do. Like this balance between your light and shadow aspect, things that are known kind of openly about you, that are very obvious about you, and things that are a little more secret or hidden. This is somebody that really respects that. And so it's kind of like wanting to let you know that they are interested, that they are here, that they want something more, but also understanding that it's like you'll give them the signal, you'll give them the indicator when it's time to proceed forward with you. We also have the Five of Wands. Yeah, so this person is willing to fight for a place in your life. They're willing to fight for a seat at your table. This is somebody who assumes that you have other options, and this is something where that does not intimidate them. They respect the fact that somebody like you, you're discerning, and likely you're not just going to settle for the first thing that comes along. They're hopeful that you don't have anyone else that you're talking to at this point in time, or anybody else that's interested, anyone from the past resurfacing. But should any of those other kind of variables surface, or be kind of a factor as far as like this person's role in your life at this point, or like strategies for the future, this is somebody that is willing to go the distance. They're willing to rise to the occasion. They're willing to compete even with unknown competitors, maybe even with kind of like previous experiences, really great experiences you've had of like love and romance in the past. This is somebody that's getting very creative, thinking of ways in which they could outshine even like the best that you've had. Times where you've experienced disappointment and heartbreak, this is somebody that's like, yeah, no problem. I'll lick those wounds somebody else left behind. I will make it my business in order to make sure that you feel appreciated, valued, respected, not just for kind of like the yielding and soft and more receptive aspects of you, but this is somebody who also wants to take the time to celebrate this kind of like almost this like determination about you, this assertiveness, maybe what could be qualified as more of like a masculine energy of polarity, regardless of gender, this kind of like action oriented, pushing through boundaries, very goal oriented. very like can-do attitude. That's something about you that this person wants to make sure that you understand. Like they see that, they don't feel threatened or intimidated by that. They have a lot of respect for this aspect about you, and they find that to be, just as kind of worthy of appreciation as those, again, like feminine, softer, receptive, more demure aspects of you. So it's like the sweet and the spicy really turn this person on. And so it feels like in their strategy moving forward as a way to kind of like outdo any potential competitors present, or even like, again, past people that might have shown you really great experiences in love, and definitely in order to show you something better than like the worst of the worst that you'd experienced before. This person, it feels like, wants to acknowledge and in some sort of way kind of tap into experiences with you that are catered to specifically that masculine polarity within you and that feminine polarity within you, which with that high priestess energy that was coming through, this person sees that you have reached a place of mastery where like you're comfortable stepping into both of those as the situation dictates. We also have the Eight of Swords. So this person does not see you as a damsel in distress, but at the same point in time, this is somebody that's like, they're trying to figure out ways in which they can kind of like scoop you up, carry you beyond maybe kind of a thought of sort of like, okay, love might not be sort of like the most flourishing part of your life at this point. So you've chosen to focus on other things, pour your time, energy, and effort into other goals or things going well. This is somebody that wants to kind of like move you beyond that place of just sort of like, okay, the right thing will come along when it's meant to. I'm going to focus on the things in my life I can control, and kind of just trust in divine timing. So this person almost wants to come in and kind of like signal to you, let you know through their actions, through their consistency, through their creative efforts, that it's like, I'm here to kind of bring us both out of this kind of season of our lives where love might not have been working out. That might not have been, the most kind of bountiful aspect of our lives. And so we needed to focus on other things, creating that, empire for ourselves, working on ourselves. We also have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, this person definitely wants to come in, wants to let you know, like, I'm here. I see you for all that you are, for all that you are presenting. This is somebody that doesn't want to create like distractions in your life. They don't want to be an obstacle. They're trying to find a way to kind of like match the pace that you have going on. This is somebody that understands you may be very busy, you may be very focused, relationships in the past that you tried out, or people that you took a chance on, that weren't very successful. It didn't kind of like work out as you'd wanted to. This in some sort of way has, like with that Eight of Swords energy, caused you to sort of redirect your focus, your priorities towards things in your life that are yielding to your attention, that are blossoming in the face of like, I put in effort, I, concentrate kind of my actions, my desires, I'm able to manifest change, and that is happening. Like this person sees that, they respect that, they understand and appreciate the momentum you have going on, that you've established for yourself. And so this is somebody that is kind of like, okay, let me sort of accelerate how I have been moving in my life, or moving in conjunction with you up to this point in time, so that I can kind of like keep pace with you, so that I can add something into, the experience that you have going on, not take away from things, not make you question. This is not somebody that wants to kind of like sow seeds of doubt, or create worry within you in any sort of way. This is the type of person that is like, yeah, I see and I appreciate and I really respect and I adore everything that you have going on. It's a big boss energy. They see you as a big boss as well in your own life. And so with this Knight of Swords, this is definitely somebody that wants to kind of communicate that to you. Let's combine forces. Let's find a way to kind of, expand the territory that we are each occupying independently in order to have this kind of like unified experience with one another. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.